All right, well, welcome to the Hangout series here on the Coach Carroll YouTube channel. Today I am happy to be hosting Andy Masters. Andy, thanks for joining us here. Andy's an award-winning author and international speaker. He's written 5 books and has 4 degrees, so definitely been a busy guy in his career. The books I've got titled here in front of me are Kiss Your Customer, 77 Reasons Why Sales and Service are Just Like Dating and Relationship. Things Leaders Say, a daily guide to help every leader empower and inspire. And then also you've been featured on Lifetime Television Network as well, right, Andy?
That's right. Yeah, it was fun.
So, and I could go on and introduce you, but no introduction is better said than from the horse's mouth. So, Andy, by all means, why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers today?
No, I appreciate that. That was mighty humbling there. So, and we've got a lot to cover. So, yeah, absolutely. That's what I do. Is I've written a few books and I present programs and I really try to help out business owners, salespeople, service professionals on trying to be successful in what they do and be passionate and successful about what they do. And so, yeah, I'm a very lucky man.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being with us. And when we talked about a month or so ago, we kind of started putting this thing into motion, and we came up with the great idea, hey, let's have this thing close to Valentine's Day. So it's only fitting for the guy that wrote Kiss Your Customer to have you on during Valentine's. So I know everyone's probably scratching their heads right now watching this, but with Valentine's Day being here, can you tell us, Andy, why should we be ready to kiss our customer in 2015?
Well, I mean, look, you have to find a way to do those extra special things that create customer loyalty. And what's amazing is when we went through the writing of the book process there are incredible, eerie similarities between bringing in customers and keeping them happy and trying to find someone from your relationship and keeping them happy too. So that's why I think Valentine's Day is such an amazing opportunity to, give them a special surprise, send them a gift, send them flowers, send them candy, and have everyone in the office sign, from your office, whether you have 1 employee or 20, have them all sign, Valentine's Day, we want to show our appreciation. We love you. Thanks so much for being our client and customer. And they're going to open that up, and it's going to put a smile on their face. So, wow, I just got a Valentine's Day, gift from someone that I do work with. And it's those sort of special things. Because let's face it, everybody sends the the cheese basket on the holidays. Okay, no way, send them a Valentine's Day gift, and also other special times during the year when they're not expecting it. That's when it means the most.
Absolutely, and that's what I tell my coaching clients as well, is that I try to steer them away from the holiday cards and do Thanksgiving cards or 4th of July. We actually, with my startup business Easy Pro, we actually sent out the small, like you remember in kindergarten, the Valentine's Day cards that were just the real cheesy ones.
Yeah, sure.
We actually packaged those and put them in decent sized red envelopes, but it was a small card, and sent all those out to our clients a few years ago. So thanks for the reminder on that. We might have to roll back into that. That's
right, and still time. I know some of these people might be watching this recorded, but there's still time now to get out there and make a special impression on some of your most appreciated clients, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to appreciate the people that we love and that they're most important to us in our life and our career. So I love the Valentine's Day idea.
Right. And Andy, with that, saying that of kissing your customer and showing them that they're loved and appreciated, what do you feel is the biggest challenge facing businesses today?
I actually think it's somewhat related, because we spend a tremendous amount of time, especially in the last 7-8 years, on on social media and database marketing and all these incredible CRM avenues that are available to us, and that's great. I mean, one of my master's degrees is in marketing. I love that stuff. The problem, though, is people are inundated electronically, and it almost depersonalizes, if you will, if that's a word. And right. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to make those impressions. There's never been a greater time to make those impressions that are personalized. There's something that I talk about that you might see floating out there called mass personalization. And what that basically is you have to train every single one of your people to to identify those special little things that might stand out. Maybe they have a kid who's playing in their Little League Championship game. What's their kid's name? So that 5 days later say, hey, how did your son do in the game? Or what's their son's favorite athlete? Or some hobby that they have, and you can get them a little something. I just thought I'd stop by and get you this token because we're so inundated by the special things of buy from me and be marketed to all the time that I think the challenge is to break through that electronic mindset and make a real personal touch to these people. That's what people are looking for. That's what will set you aside from everybody else that's marketing to them.
Right. And I liken that to the fact of I like to call it chivalry in business, right? So if you think about it, like I still open my girlfriend's door for her when we go out to eat or anytime we get in the car. And it's something that was so commonplace practice back in the day, but now hardly no one ever does it anymore. So it has that over-the-top effect. So, picking up the phone and making that phone call or doing something special for your customers, as you mentioned, it used to be done a lot back in the day. But as we have, 200 emails a day coming to us and all the social media things, those touches that everyone used to do, they don't do them anymore, so they're even more important. So I absolutely agree with you that that's something that you can do to elevate your business and elevate your service level as well.
Yeah, I love that, chivalry in business. I could have used that as one of my chapters. That's great.
There you go, man. Free to it, no problem.
It'll be second edition.
There you go. Yeah. So, and the thing is, one of the things I love about you, Andy, and what we've done here, we're laughing, we're having fun, and, the kiss your customer, I don't know if you would call it the logo or what, but with the rose in your mouth.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, man, because I think that's awesome, and I totally push unique branding and marketing, so it doesn't get any more unique than looking like a salsa dancer.
Yeah, and we wanted to have a lot of fun. I mean, the book, I was fortunate for the book to win, a couple of business humor awards, and so, it's an important topic. There's so many great things, but I said, look, I want people to read this book. I want them to like the book. I want them to like the program. Here is what we know about humor, okay? Here's cold hard facts. People will want to date you, hire you, buy from you, and promote you if they like you, okay? Now that's right or wrong. That's what statistics show. And so it's almost like the previous discussion, which was if we can break through and I really believe customers have never, or employees have never had a time where it was more important to them to not be stressed out at work, okay? I mean, people want to love their jobs again and have fun and have pride in who they work for and have pride for the manager that they work for. Mm-hmm. So it is amazing what you can do in creating a positive work environment for your employees and that positive, fun work environment to build those personal relationships. It's never been more important to have humor and fun in the workplace inside your building and also outside with those folks, because it's powerful stuff, and it's also fun. So get creative, have fun, and get out there and do it.
Absolutely. And I read an article once that said that it costs the average business owner about $5,000 to hire a new employee. So you go through all the training and all that good stuff. So if you think, what's it going to cost me to have a little bit of humor and make sure people are having fun? And I know we're always like grind, but every once in a while you need to take that Friday off and have some fun at the office, whether it be a cookout or going to the bowling alley. But the humor thing I think is a prime example of making sure that people have fun when they're working, right? Because no one wants to have a job like that.
Coach, and I know that a lot of times people want maybe specific examples of, well, that sounds great, but what do and there are a lot of articles. I've got an article on humor in the workplace, and there's tons of them out there. But one specific example, just really what you can do. This is great. I'm gonna get completely wacky and say, what if you screw up? What if you did something and your most important client, you sent it to the wrong, it got there late, it was whatever it might be. Look, mistakes are opportunities to strengthen relationships, okay? And so we're always so walking on eggshells, but one time I was working at a company, this was a long time ago, I was working at a company as a project manager. I had a group of people under me. We really screwed up. It was one of our most important clients, and so we did the immediate thing of apologize and try to fix it and make it right. But I said, something's just missing here. So what I decided to do was there's so many great there's customized chocolate websites that you can go to, and you can order like 8 by 10 pieces of chocolate, and you can upload your photo and edible text that you can send to your client, okay? Or to someone you love or whatever. And so I got a little crazy. I just said, you know what, I've just got to try this because we had a good rapport with this client, but I didn't want to lose him. So I uploaded a picture of myself holding a dozen roses and just standing there. And so the text that I had on the chocolate itself, which was edible, saying, "We're so sorry, please don't bite our head off," okay? And they got it within 4 or 5 days. They got it. And I'm gonna guess. I wasn't there to see it, but I'm gonna guess they open up that package and say, "What is this about? You know, what's going on? Who's this from? Whatever." And they open up and saw a picture of me saying, "Please don't bite my head off." And you know what? They probably said something like this. They said, "You know what?" I said, "Hey, Kevin, get over here. Jill, get over here. You got to check this out. I mean, you know what? These guys aren't so bad. You know, we screw up too. All right, we love these guys." And you know what? We kept the account. We saved the account, and that account is still there with them. So. Look, mistakes are simply opportunities to strengthen relationships, so that's a fun opportunity, even when you screw up, perhaps, to say, "Here's, we're going to do something fun to make sure we make it right."
Absolutely, and that's great. I wrote that down because I'm going to have to add that to you can have the intimacy in business. I'm going to add that to our marketing campaign. So
yeah, and it helps in relationships too. Gentlemen out there, when you're screwing up,
there you go.
And they're very cheap. It's like $7.99 those things start at. I mean, come on, it's great.
So if they watch this video and they look down and it's February 15th and they go, "Oh, I forgot about Valentine's Day," go buy the chocolate and put your face on it. So
that's right. Say, so sorry, Valentine's Day gift is late. Please don't buy my head off. You know, so it's great.
Exactly. Love it, man. So and you know that with the Kiss the Customer and all that kind of stuff, you know, your other book that you wrote is Things Leaders Say. So for the people that may be the managers that are watching that aren't the frontline sales guys, which are who I really speak to, what is one piece of advice that you would give to leaders out there that may be over a team or maybe managing a company?
Well, I'll tell you, when you talked about challenges before, the number one challenge of leaders that I see out there is simply coming out of this era of the recession. Here's the new norm. It is leaders have to do more with less, wear so many hats, and that has thrust leaders down into the trenches. And that's bad because when you're in the trenches, you don't have vision. You can't take all that proactive projects. You can't take time to develop your employees. You maybe can't even take time to do the special fun things that you're talking about because you're in survival mode. So the number one thing that I talk about in my leadership programs in my book is simply I know there's a way for leaders to pull off a magic trick, and it's through the true ability and skill and knowledge to empower your team, develop your team, and have the trust to delegate to your team so that they can feel great doing wonderful, more important tasks, and they're developing themselves and they're feeling empowered because studies show how great that's going to increase team productivity by having a high morale, empowered workforce. And at the same time, if you do that, then now you can be up here out of the trenches and you can plan for next year or 2 years down the road and tackle that proactive project and think, how can we create innovation around here? How can we set an award by doing a record by doing this? So every single manager and leader has to be a master at empowering, developing, and delegating. Do not get stuck in those trenches. Trust those people, hire great people, and give them the tools and resources necessary to do great things for you so you can go do great things for your organization.
That's awesome, man. And I've always been a huge fan of delegating, right? That's what when I speak to schools, the high school students or colleges, they always ask me like, DJ, how did you grow your company so fast? And it's delegation, right? Mm-hmm. Because I know where my weaknesses are. I go find people that can do it really good. So I've never really seen that empowering part of it. So what you're talking about is really just kind of set a light bulb off for me in one of my other companies, is that before we delegate, we need to make sure we're empowering so those guys feel pumped up and say, hey, you know what, we can do this. Please give it to me, versus picking it up and just dropping it on them and saying, figure it out.
Well, that's right, and I have amazing research that shows that how much employees respond. They want more responsible. They want to develop. Now, develop is important. So that means, are you signing them up for training classes? Are you having them sit in front of a webinar for for half an hour, an hour to develop their supervisory skills or their sales skills? They want to know that the company or manager believes in them, that there's a future there. That's going to give you lower turnover and higher morale. They're going to want to take on and do great things for you. Hey, listen. There's a reason why some employees run through walls for managers and why some don't. Okay, it has almost nothing to do with raises and salaries. Okay, and I did consulting on this for several years before I broke off on my own, and so that's the trick that great leaders have to understand. And then the second part is, guess what? That leader also has to be a master in today's day and age of appreciation, recognition, and reciprocation. If you have a team where you're empowering, you're developing them, you're delegating to them, doing great things for you, then look, you have to create that positive work environment and know all the great things we just talked about, of doing those special things for that employee. The top 3 complaints of all employees across this country, and the top 3 no matter what industry you show, is I don't feel appreciated enough from my manager or leader. All right, so we've got to appreciate them, love them, and give them the empowerment and development, but also the appreciation, so that they're going to want to run through walls for you. And now that will leave you an opportunity to go do great things.
Absolutely.
You can
Absolutely.
really put it together.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, is that I've read some articles about how the philosophy of business has changed over the years. And I mean, if you look at Wall Street's a prime example. No one promotes stable, steady growth anymore, right? It's like they want volatility because that's where the money's made. Like, we want it to be as crazy, and the thought of, hey, business times are tough, so I'm getting rid of the Lexus and going back down to a Chevy Cobalt so we can make things happen. That doesn't happen anymore, right? People get laid off. They don't. It's just, it's almost in business nowadays. It's almost like a lot of times we see that from higher up, they don't care about their people. And exactly, no one's going to run through a brick wall if you don't care about them. I think is the point I'm trying to make there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Andy. When you see, you incorporate the humor, we make sure that we're kissing our customers. We empower people, we delegate to them, and this ultimately brings us to a nice place in business. I guess that would be a sense of success, but I always like to ask people, what's your definition of success?
Yeah, I think you set me up. You're going to ask me that one, and it is. And nobody really ever asked me that. The first thing I definitely want to say is, everyone has to create their own definition of success. And I know it sounds like a boring answer, but within yourself, you have to identify, where do I want to be this year, or this week, or 2 years from now, and identify those goals. And I think it's really big for people to want to reach their potential. But you have to understand, you have to draw your line of what do you feel is successful, and then you go for whatever that is. Now, I will actually say one thing that I don't do as well as I should is I really believe in the whole, I'm so goal-oriented, like perhaps some of your listeners out there, we are in a goal-oriented society now. Mm-hmm. We have to stop and smell the roses. We have to enjoy that journey, because if we just worry about, I got to make it here, so I'll be successful, then what happens if you're like me, you reach one goal, and then what are you doing? You're turning around and making that next goal and say, well, you know what, I got to get to here then. And we really got to find a way to enjoy ourselves along that road of success. So set those terrific goals for yourself. And you identify your own level, what is successful to you, but enjoy yourself along the way. Otherwise, you're never going to really be happy.
Absolutely. And that's my book that I'm writing right now, The 100 Head Game. One of the chapters is finding your own apex. So like I talk about apex predators. Well, there's a type of ant in East Africa that is an apex predator. And you wouldn't think an ant would be an apex predator. But I think it's a prime example of it's found its own apex, right? So out of everybody in its little kingdom, it's the top. That doesn't necessarily mean that it can go tackle a gazelle like a lion can. So, the lion's apex might be somewhere else. So I really think that you touched on exactly what I like to hear from people, is that you have to find what makes you happy, and you have to find what is important to you in your life, and smelling the roses along the way is an important part that I think a lot of us miss out on, because as you said, in today's society, it's go, 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 go. and no one ever really stops to kind of look around and say, wow, kind of be humbled by your own success.
Yeah, I mean, you got to enjoy it along the way and have fun out there, and and what's amazing is that's contagious. So when you do have goals, and so you have, if you have a team of 1 or 10,000, or I don't know how big anyone's company is out there, it's okay to have great goals and be focused on those goals and go for it, but have fun along the way. Otherwise, you're going to stress everybody out along the way, and that leads to low morale and high turnover, okay? So there's fantastic success stories of great companies out there that have achieved amazing things, and they also have one of the happiest places to work as well, okay? That's, I think, what you're striving for, okay? And it can be done. It can be done.
Absolutely. So, and I know we didn't have this question written down, but we've kind of talked about all the awesome stuff and the good stuff, and we're at the apex of success. It's only fitting with the relationships and breakups. I mean, we're 11 days from Valentine's Day. What about breakups, man? What about when the customer or the girl dumps you? How would you recommend people handle that? And I'm sure you've got a whole chapter of that in your book. We've got a little extra time here. Do you mind delving into that a little bit?
Yeah, it's funny because trust me, I was an expert on that. So of course, it's a little bit of a boring answer to begin with. But you have to take the high road in the world of business, and also in the world of dating and relationships as well. Because the fact is, in this crazy world, you never know. You never know when 2 years from now they're going to know someone who might need your service or product that you offer. You might not know when they're going to run into one of their friend of mine. Hey, you know what? I can set you up with somebody. I know this great guy didn't work out between us, but I think he's a really cool guy. Okay, and so that you never know philosophy of serendipity. It is amazing, especially through the world of seriously, like LinkedIn. You can change jobs, get fired, do whatever else, and it stays with you. But you can keep those relationships all the way through, and that's what's amazing nowadays is that those will stay with you. The negatives will stay with you. Through the world of social media, the bad will stay with you for a long time, and that's not a good thing to do. So there's never been a more important time in this country's history to take the high road and be professional, and also be adult in relationships, but be professional when those breakups occur, because you never know the next person that's going to need your product or service. You might need a job from them 5 years from now. You never know. It's amazing how small of a world we live in.
Absolutely. And I'll touch on one thing as well. You said with the social media, which is so huge. I know, and I don't do it. Maybe it's just where I grew up with social media, being 26. But I know other professionals that own businesses and stuff, and before they hire anyone, they'll make judgment calls. I literally know of someone that didn't get hired. They said, I really liked them, DJ, but I went on Facebook and I looked at their pictures, and it didn't feel right to me. And as unfair as that may seem, they're the ones making the decision. So that person didn't land that job because of the pictures they had on Facebook. So I think it's really important. So social media, etiquette, I guess, so to speak. And another story that I heard was a guy, I think it was a marketing company. They go to Nashville, Knoxville, somewhere in Tennessee. He lands in the airport. He gets off the airport and he starts texting. And he puts out a tweet that says, wow, just landed in probably the crappiest town I've ever been in my life.
Oh, no.
The company he was going to see saw the tweet. They were following him, tweeted him back, and said, well, you might want to turn around and get back on your plane.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great story. You betcha.
So it's I think it's really important to not only to make sure you're kissing your customer, but also understand that if there's ever been more ways for customers to watch you, it's definitely now with all the social media stuff going on.
Well, and just tag on to that one more time is I make a statement. In my programs I actually have, how many people agree with this or not? True or false? There has never been a worse time in the history of this planet to have just one person ticked off at you. Just one. Okay? And I think in 5 seconds, usually people within 5 seconds will say true. So, and they know why. We all know why.
Mm-hmm.
Social media, text, cell phones, YouTube videos, they can go to review websites on your industry and blast you. It's never been more dangerous to have one person ticked off at you. So therefore, is customer service, training and all those sorts of things more important than it's ever been before? You betcha. Because one ticked off person can take you down. And then on the other side, what do we talk about? The positive experiences are what can really make your company grow and boom, because the positive experiences can be retweeted and put on Facebook and so forth. So there's never been a greater time in this country's history to have great, fantastic customer service. That's it.
So absolutely, and I think that, and again, with writing this book, I went back and looked at a lot of the old sales mantras and the things that have been around forever that people have done. And it's always, at the end of a sale, ask for a referral. And I think now it's even more important that you say, hey, can you tweet about us? Can you go review us somewhere? Because really, I don't want you to tell me about one person that might be okay with this. Go tell your 2,000 followers that you have how great we are.
That's right.
And I think that as businesses and business owners and entrepreneurs, we need to be sure that we're staying on the front line of that, because an upset customer, we say, used to, you'd be able to go, well, he's just an irate customer. You get one of those every once in a while. He's going to go tell his buddies at his poker game Saturday, and we'll never see him again. Yep. Not the case so much anymore. He's going on Facebook and telling his 4,000 friends about the terrible service that he received, and then you got a situation on your hands.
Yeah, and then there's, and I know we're almost done, but there's ways to actually monitor on social media, what is being said about you out there, so that you can hopefully jump in and correct that and make. And Southwest Airlines is one of the first companies actually a full-time social media staff, and that's all they do is they can locate what's being said about them on there and then reach out and say, how can we make this right? Okay, very, very smart thinking.
Absolutely, and one tip, I'm huge on efficiency, as we talked about delegating and stuff, but customer disservice, as I like to call it, of the 1-800 numbers where you have to go through a 15-minute prompt to ask a 5-second question, right?
Yeah.
I avoid that altogether now, because so many of these big companies know that we've got to be active on Twitter and stuff. And American Airlines, their website was down yesterday. I just sent out a message. I didn't want to call a phone number, and I said, at American Air, is the website down? I need to book a plane ticket for Wednesday. I need to use my flyer miles. Mm-hmm. They hit me back like 45 minutes later, said it's fixed. Let us know if you need anything else. I'm like, cool. Send the message, and they contact me 45 minutes later and say it's been resolved. I don't have to sit on hold for 45 minutes.
That's right.
It's absolutely important. Well, Andy, I appreciate you coming on with us today. It's been a great session. I've had a lot of fun. We've laughed and chuckled, talked about breakups, talked about kissing customers. We talked about empowering and delegation and developing your employees. Man, there's been a lot of stuff. So, Andy, for everybody that's out there, how can they find your book if they're interested in either reading Kiss Your Customer or The Things Leaders Say?
Well, the easiest way is just hit my website, which is andy-masters.com. If you stick Andy Masters in Google, I'll pop right up, so that's easier too. And there's little links for books. There's articles. I've got tons of free articles on my website, including the things we talked about: delegation, customer satisfaction, and all these sorts of great things. So there's free articles that people can humor. So yeah, they can take it all out and send it on to people that might be interested as well.
Awesome. And if you're watching this video playback on YouTube, I'll make sure to put all this information down in the bottom. Make sure you follow me, DJ_Carroll on Twitter. Andy, what's your Twitter handle? I know you're more of a LinkedIn guy, but I see you on Twitter as well.
Yeah, it's Andy_Masters.
Perfect. Awesome. So I'll have that in the description. Thanks, everyone, for watching. If you have questions, be sure to comment below. Share the video so that we can let everybody know why you need to kiss your customers. And, Andy, I appreciate you again. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us, man.
My pleasure, man. You're doing a great job out there. Thanks for spreading the good work. Love what you do.
Awesome. Sounds good. See you guys next time.
Have a good one.